to their music. They are called intro.
Did projects for Mary J Blige, who did 3 songs on her album.
Okay. Hey, that's hot.
I never want to see you cry unless the tears of joy. Let me be the one. Don't you know that I've been waiting? Time flies when you're making love.
I understand y'all work with a lot of people, maybe from Mariah Carey.
I said, who is this guy doing my song?
Oh, so long way.
The first time I heard it, I said,
He has like the talent. I'm saying, I'll give him his credit right now.
And you know, in the music industry, it's all about supply and demand. Adversely, I had a lot of jobs, and you see my name over a lot of stuff.
Just imagine I can do anything you believe. Like the first time we made love, and I said I love you. Don't let go.
As soon as we signed with Untouchables, they put us right to work. Like
Do you really want to be in the background, producing and writing?
Well, when we go back and do our next album, you'll see more production credit by intro.
I'll give it to you, darling.
Feel that thump in your chest? That's your heartbeat racing, because the next 5 minutes are about to expose why an R&B genius got ghosted by the very machine he fueled with platinum hooks. Leaked contract clauses, shredded tour budgets, and hush money emails are flashing on our screen. The genius is Kenny Greene, the velvet-throated architect behind Intro. And Kenny Greene's latest news slams the cover off a vault the label swore you'd never see. We're talking line-item proof of sabotage. One memo literally orders, destroy test pressings. And the paper trail runs hotter than a July block party. Ever wonder who signs a check to silence a songwriter who wrote Mary J Blige classics? Curious why Kenny Greene's Scandal Update shows a badge on his chest instead of a stage light in his face? Stick around, because the receipts name names and price tags. In the next breath, you'll hear the exact sentence Atlantic executives used to freeze a fully mastered third album. You'll find out how a morals clause older than color TV turned a platinum voice into a liability overnight. And yes, we've got the time-stamped emails to prove it. Picture flipping open a binder labeled confidential, project second tomorrow, seeing red ink slashing too truthful for market across every soulful ballad, then realizing the ink is a reason you never slow dance to those songs. That sting you feel? That's history you paid for but never received. So grab that comment box early. The record labels owe fans an apology check when they bury greatness. Toss your hottest take below while we dive headfirst into the sabotage playbook, because by the end you'll know exactly who pulled the trigger and why they're praying you don't read the fine print. Ready to name the culprits live in the chat tonight? Flashback to 1993. 3 Queens hustlers, Kenny Greene, Buddy White, and Jeff Sanders, walked straight from backyard rehearsals into Atlantic's skyscraper lobby with 1 cassette, 3 matching leather jackets, and a hunger you could smell. The label smelled money. They stamped Intro onto shiny promo samplers, pressed up a debut album, and watched Come Inside go gold before the group remembered to cash advances. Charts loved them, DJs spun them, and couples claimed them as the official soundtrack of Candle Wax and Backseat Fog. Behind the woozy harmony sat Kenny Greene, military sharp with melody math and diary raw lyrics. He handled vocal stacks like puzzles, wrote hooks between lunch breaks, and blocked studio time for other artists to snag rent money. Mary J Blige, he slipped her a chorus that still pays her mortgage. But the rookie deal he signed would make a shark blush. Single-digit royalties, no producer credit without pre-approval, and option clause letting Atlantic alone decide if album 2 ever happened. Kenny read the fine print, shrugged, and started stockpiling leverage. By the end of '93, he'd co-written enough hits to land ASCAP Songwriter of the Year alongside Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. That plaque should have rewritten the contract. It didn't. While fans blasted Intro on mixtapes, accounting blasted the budget cap, Atlantic diverted promo dollars to shinier acts, betting the trio's buzz could coast on word of mouth. Greene refused. He filed demo after demo for a grittier second record. Live strings, gospel choirs, lyrics about his father's funeral. Execs called it too grown. They wanted more club syrup. Then came the 21-second radio flap. A DJ butchered the group's name on air. Greene corrected him with a laugh. But the station clipped the audio like a diss. Atlantic labeled the moment unprofessional, suspended Kenny from press runs, and quietly rerouted funds to the Braxtons. Fans never knew. They just noticed Intro videos disappearing from BET rotations. Meanwhile, Kenny's calendar filled with clinic visits no one discussed. HIV meds cost stadium money in the 90s, and the label's health plan wasn't built for reality. Insurance approval slowed, Show dates shifted, and whispers inside A&R grew louder. A morals clause dating back to 1964 sat in his contract, brandishing vague threats about conduct reflecting discredit. In a boardroom, that wording spelled fire at will. Still, he kept cutting songs. 40 new tracks stacked up, enough for a double album. Studio invoices show Green paying engineers out of pocket to keep the sessions alive, while Atlantic's finance team stamped hold. By 1995, a master tape labeled Project Second Tomorrow sat shrink-wrapped, fully mixed, completely ignored. Executives whispered about portfolio realignment, but nobody told fans the truth. Intro's very success made him a threat to the label's new teen-friendly rollout strategy. The countdown to silence had started, and the timer hid in a cabinet no outsider could open. Here's where the cover-up turned surgical. In January 1995, Atlantic's finance squad built a slide deck. Slide 3 parked Intro beside a red arrow marked Deprioritize. Slide 5 reassigned $1 million promo dollars to Braxton's. Slide 8 suggested destroying obsolete assets. Code for every reel Kenny Greene had just finished. Days later, an email ordered, hold all release materials until further notice. Greene booked more studio time anyway, while he layered choir harmonies. The morals clause stalked him like a tripwire. Paragraph 12 allowed immediate suspension for any behavior that could diminish marketplace appeal. In 1995, that covered 2 secrets he carried, bisexuality and HIV. Colleagues watched him sip water between takes, then crush cough drops to keep falsetto runs clean. On the books, he was lead singer. In spreadsheets, he was a liability. The hit came fast. February 10, 1995, during a Chicago promo stop, the infamous radio slip aired. Greene corrected the host's mispronunciation, laughed, and moved on. Within an hour, a senior Atlantic VP labeled him volatile. HR slapped a 60-day pay freeze on his per diems. Greene covered hotel bills with royalties from a Tyrese demo he'd ghostwritten the week before. Behind closed doors, executives drafted the silent execution of Intro's third era. The plan: freeze marketing, starve chart momentum, let sales dip enough to justify contract termination without headlines. They even auditioned stand-in vocalists, hoping to slip a new frontman into existing mixes. Session guitarist Eric Black later called the tryouts karaoke with paperwork. Greene fought back the only way he knew: work. During suspension, he cut 40 fresh tracks, some featuring drum loops he learned in Germany. He mailed rough mixes daily, each sticky noted proof of viability. Accounting stamped them received and slid them into a tray labeled risk. Every new song made him look stronger. The label answered by making him poorer. Health spiraled. Lab reports show his CD4 count dropping below 200. Yet he refused to cancel sessions. He'd step outside, cough blood, gargle salt water, then punch back into the booth. Engineers marked takes vocal thin but haunting. Greene told him to keep every run. Pain sells. July 1996. Atlantic fired its opening salvo. A memo redirected all intro promo funds to Braxton's and 702. Another line ordered Project Second Tomorrow. Test pressings destroyed. Warehouse staff smuggled 2 vinyl copies under jackets. One lives today in Buddy White's gun safe. That same week, Greene's new HIV meds were denied. Reason: contract status under review. With treatment delayed, weight plummeted. Rehearsal footage from September 1996 shows him sweating through a hoodie, hitting whistle notes, wiping blood, flashing peace. Hours later, EMTs rolled him out with pneumonia. He discharged himself after 4 days because the bill hit $12 grand and Atlantic hadn't reinstated coverage. Even a hospital gown couldn't mute him. From bed, he dictated string arrangements over a Nokia, patched the choir into a DAT, named the track Grace Under Fire, then watched it disappear into the vault. Corporate patience ended in February 1997. Atlantic terminated the contract citing creative divergence. The band kept its name, half its publishing, and all its unpaid bills. A hidden kicker barred Intro from releasing music for 5 years. Buddy fought. Atlantic settled small and kept the masters. Rent looming, Buddy joined NYPD. Jeff hawked session vocals. Kenny sold notebooks or groceries. This pivot birthed the Badge twist. While patrolling Brooklyn, Buddy learned evidence lockers can store property indefinitely if tied to an investigation. He filed Intro's DAD reels as exhibits in a contract fraud inquiry. The tapes entered limbo, protected by police tape instead of lawyers. By 1999, Kenny Greene's scandal update read like disaster. He was funding meds through demo advances while his own album rotted. April 2001, age 32, he died of AIDS complications. No Atlantic exec attended. Music Cares covered 72 grand in bills. The morals clause had done its job. Intro breached the contract's 3-member minimum. Atlantic ignored Buddy's duo tour idea. The group dissolved into paperwork. From 2003 to 2019, Intro existed only as liner note trivia. Bootleg snippets of Second Tomorrow hit LimeWire, then vanished under Atlantic's DMCA strikes. Proof the label still feared daylight. Then leverage flipped. January 2020. The 30-year copyright timer made the masters eligible for Section 203 reversion. Detective White filed notice. Atlantic fought. Statute won. By May 2021, the masters belong to the surviving members. First act of ownership. Finished Greene's documentary storyboard. Music, lyrics, and life. Stitch rehearsal tapes, hospital footage, and depositions into a story no PR team could spin. Its trailer hit 1 million views in 3 days. Atlantic crumbled, settling unpaid royalties, about $5.2 million per SEC filings, and issuing a statement calling Greene a visionary. Within hours, Kenny Greene's latest news trended across music blogs. November 1st, 2021, Second Tomorrow dropped, debuting at number 9 on Apple Music R&B. Critics called the raw vocals decade ahead. TikTok danced to isolated riffs. Audit logs from the Reversion exposed every hush memo linking budget cuts to morality fears. Those files now anchor Kenny Greene's scandal update, making the case a landmark for artists fighting similar clauses. Key detail: the morals clause vanished from the Braxton's 1995 contract, signed weeks after it nuked Greene's career. Screenshots of both documents went viral. Atlantic never rebutted. The gag order spoke louder. Detective White funneled royalties into a trust for Kenny's sister Nicole. First payout: a scholarship for queer songwriters named Second Tomorrow Promise. Streaming revenue now funds the exhibit of suppressed music touring museums. Each play a quiet revenge. So, where does that leave the culprits? Arbitration lists the exec who ordered the destruction. He now lectures on ethical catalog management. Ironic enough? Drop your reaction below. And if you think legal pressure alone forced a settlement, wait until you read the next leak. A Slack thread plotting to sanitize Greene's narrative for a nostalgia box set. Spoiler: that plan died the minute Detective White served the Reversion papers. Today, Kenny Greene's latest news still reverberates. Algorithms recommend Second Tomorrow to fans of her and Gibeon. The Sound Atlantic called too heavy. R&B historians rewrite chapters. Classrooms dissect the contract. And Atlantic logs a MusiCares donation as marketing expense. Did they buy redemption or rent silence? Tell me, if a label can bury one masterpiece, how many more sleep under NDA tombstones? Reading the settlement PDFs feels like watching a crime caper where you finally see the getaway car's license plate. Fans rage-type thread breakdowns. Lawyers on TikTok stitch explainer clips that went viral overnight. The collective mood? Part triumph, part fury. People cheered the payday, then asked why a payout only arrives after a coffin is lowered. In barbershops, the debate got loud. One camp says the label merely chased profit. The other swears discrimination inked every ledger line. Which side are you on? Drop it below. The numbers lean heavy. The morals clause lived for 30 years yet vanished when a straight, camera-friendly act needed budget. Coincidence rarely balances at perfect. Musicians watched, terrified and inspired. If a platinum songwriter can be sidelined over identity and illness, what stops the next quiet erasure? Managers audited contracts for vintage morality language. Hashtags hashtag Second Tomorrow and hashtag Contract Trap trended beside Drake's new single. Executives felt the tremor. Anonymous insiders admit boardrooms now flag any clause older than the dot-com boom. That alone shows Kenny Greene's scandal update rewired corporate playbooks. Historians reordered the R&B family tree. Critics compare Second Tomorrow to early D'Angelo. Others hear Blueprint DNA for the Weeknd's darker ballads. Imagine earning Hall of Fame status because a corporation tried to erase you. Phoenix points unlocked. Then there's a cops to custodian Arc Buddy White patrolling Brooklyn, locking priceless reels in an evidence vault, later leveraging that chain of custody against Atlantic reads like Hollywood. Yet every timestamp checks. Could you swap Mike Stands for handcuffs to rescue Arc? Say so in the comments. Spotify playlist titled The Kenny Greene Revival Keep Growing. Each play funds fresh scholarships, poetic justice in 320 kbps. But is justice complete without executives under oath? Should Congress limit morality clauses? Argue below, legislation or litigation. Fans keep spotting Easter eggs. A hidden Morse code drum spelling hope, a reverse choir sample chanting truth will breathe. Every find sparks micro-viral moments. The label once feared honesty. Now honesty sells shirts, streams, symposium tickets. Sweet irony. Bittersweet because the man behind the pen never felt those stage lights bounce off applause. Ready for the treasure hunt portion? Let's crack open details too bizarre to invent. First, the shelved album's work tape opens with Greene reciting the Gettysburg Address, but swapping every noun for a food item. Engineers kept it for the vowel warmth. That snack speech hides a 501 on Grace under fire. Second, a leaked spreadsheet lists discretionary contract ops. $14,700. That paid the shredding service for test pressings. Invoice note. Confetti size must be unreadable. Third, drum pattern 16 beyond Zakai spells SOS to the bridge of no apologies. Producers heard swing. Greene called it a lifeline. Fourth, the choir on Second Tomorrow recorded at 2 a.m. in Harlem's Bethany Church with lights off to dodge fees. The entire session cost $48. Bus fuel, donuts, coffee. Fifth, the DAD reels Detective White stored in NYPD evidence rode along on arrest for 3 years because the precinct lacked space. One reel spent a winter night in a trunk and still played after engineers baked it. 6. The Morals Clause Green fear traces back to a 1964 contract for a British invasion band. The original group rolled joints on gold records and faced zero discipline. Double standard, anyone? 7th, Kenny Greene'S scandal update revealed an expense labeled Unviable Artist Relations Luncheon the day Intro's third album died. 3 executives skipped, but their meals were billed anyway. 8th, a backup keyboard rescue from Greene's flooded basement survived because he'd waterproofed it with plastic wrap and silica. Engineers found a preset called Plan Z Choir. Now the record's closing chord. 9th, TikTok detectives notice the album art spells truth in the negative space between second and tomorrow. Green sketched that while waiting on blood work. 10th, the scholarship contract for queer songwriters requires recipients to archive every draft, ensuring no label can delete history again. 11th, engineers rebuilding the masters found a stereo whisper of storage locker coordinates. Fans left flowers there on his death anniversary. 12th, Atlantic security footage shows an intern wheeling Intro vinyl into the shred room while humming Tell Me, unaware he was erasing his favorite song. 13th, the Real Box now on tour carries Greene's handwriting. If you're reading this, the music won. 14th, Buddy kept the original Morals Clause document folded in his wallet next to his NYPD badge for 18 years. The crease marks match courtroom exhibits, proving chain of custody. Which hidden gem blows your mind? Drop the number below so we can rank the wildest receipts together. You've traced every breadcrumb from Studio Glory to Vault Lockdown to Chart Rebirth, and the trail ends with one truth. Paperwork can pause music, but it can't silence legacy. Kenny Greene'S latest news turns sealed clauses into open court wins, and Kenny Greene'S scandal update keeps squeezing lessons out of every decimal and date. So what's your move now? Hit subscribe if ripping masks off music myths is your vibe. Smash like if you believe hidden albums deserve daylight. More important, dive into Second Tomorrow tonight and tell us in the comments which track is hardest and why. Share this with anyone stuck in a creativity versus contract fight. They need the blueprint. Every stream funds a scholarship, pushing new voices past the traps that caught Kenny Greene. Your click can bankroll a chorus that refuses to be quiet. Ready to keep the chain of justice loud? Let's flood the algorithm together. And before you bounce, answer one last question. Should morality clauses be banned from modern recording deals, or do they still have a place? Argue out below. We'll pin the sharpest take. This channel isn't just storytelling. It's a courtroom where the verdict is written by you. Let's see those verdicts roll.